we've been running into some issues with these non-UTF-8 characters being displayed in DBVisualizer. And we've tried to solve the problem by correcting those non-UTF-8 characters. But the reality is they don't need to be corrected. We just need to change the tool that we're using to display those. And so I'm going to show you how to set your tool up to display those. So the first thing we do is let's open up DBVisualizer. And we're going to be working in the finance table for QSS copy environment. And just to get an example of how the problem is representing itself, I'm going to go ahead and open up a SQL commander window. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to display some records that are going to be non-UTF-8. So I know that this record does not have any issues with non-UTF-8 characters. So if I run this guy right here, we see that District 30, 8976, whatever, Psycho Cafe table. Let's go ahead and now run that same query with 8977. This one does have a non-UTF-8 character, and we get this issue. It says error invalid byte sequence for encoding UTF-8. So that's the big problem. And whenever we get that one, we have to, well, what we have done is we've cleaned out the non-UTF-8 characters. So one of the techniques that we were going to try to do to fix this was we were going to change the client encoding. And so if we simply issue a command to set the client encoding to Latin 1, and we run this command, what you might get is it says the service client encoding parameter was changed, but the JDBC driver requires client encoding to be UTF-8. We can solve this problem. The way to solve this problem is we have to go into the database connection, and here's the database connection. I go over to the properties, and under the driver properties, you'll see that the first thing it says allow encoding changes is set to false. You have to double click on the value, not the parameter, but the value, and we have to set that to true. Now this is the case for every database connection you have, you'll have to do this one. And then once I've set that to true, I'm going to click apply. And then, believe it or not, we actually have to close out DBVisualizer because it needs to reload that driver. And let's go back to that finance table. And now let's see if I can set the client encoding. I'll run this. And it says it was a success. Perfect. I'm going to go over into the connection. On the we had gone over the properties to look at the driver properties. Underneath the transaction properties, there is a thing that says auto commit. Sometimes that's not set. I'm going to turn off auto commit. I'll do apply. And then now I have to disconnect from the database and reconnect. And then now when I come over here, you'll see it says auto commit is off. If I come over here and try to run this one, it says auto commit is off, and I have one that has not been committed. So even though it says it's all good to go, I have to actually type commit, C-O-M-M-I-T, in order for that to be committed. And now I have nothing left to be committed. For me, I've just left auto commit on and chose apply. And then now I can disconnect again, reconnect. When I come back over here, auto commit is now on. Now I will go to run this select statement and see what happens. We got an error before, but hey, now I'm not getting an error. And you can see it's got the little, I don't know, accent over the E. That's that non-UTF-8 character. Now we don't want to have to do this every time. So what we're going to do is take this set client encoding to Latin 1. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go over into the connection. What we're going to do now is go into connection hooks. And then right here, it says run SQL at connect. And click paste. And then I click apply. So now when I close out of DBVisualizer and I restart, and then I'm going to open up my finance database, it's connecting. I will come over here. I'm not going to run this anymore. I'm just going to go straight into my SQL select, and it works. And the reason is because when I look at that connection information and go to the properties, it had ran this odd startup at the connection of that.